He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that as Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are located, because remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Trying to go ahead and move my screen around. Got some things going on in the background while recording this episode. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Had a fun weekend, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time ever, BGS Media went ahead and put two, not one, but two cooking teams in a cook-off. And, well, we didn't make it. Not to say our food wasn't good, but there's a lot of better cooks that go to these cook-offs. And ladies and gentlemen, we didn't do too well. But guess what? We're gonna get it next time. We're gonna go ahead and get it done. This is a process, but it was for a good cause for our church, and we had fun. Ate way too much food, but it was fun. It was exciting. Had a great weekend. Hope your weekend was good as well. On a note for announcements. You're going to notice at the time of this recording has been released, there's going to be another episode coming up. It is going to be a bonus episode before Thursday's episodes. Yay! I got the chance to sit down with the liberal trucker on TikTok. We got to stand and look, we recorded an hour and a half, but we went ahead and we talked longer than that. We talked easily 2 hours, and some of it was recorded. We went ahead and record a bonus episode. There's no breaks in between. It's just one good long conversation, and I was thinking about putting it on this episode for the third segment, but I know when I start talking to somebody that's political as well. And look, guys, you know, you might ask me, well, Isaac, why you went ahead and sit down with a liberal? Because I think that's what this country needs more. It's not the philosophy of liberalism, but people sitting down. Because I'm giving you a hint, if you have not listened to it yet, it's going to be released the same day as this. It's going to be released on TikTok and it's going to be released on Rumble and YouTube as well. But I sat down with him, and there were some things we agreed on, but there's a lot of things we disagreed on, but we did it respectfully. And I see that in the left right now and in the right, that there's no respect. It could be just for the cameras. But anyway, go ahead and check out the liberal trucker on TikTok or Instagram. The.liberal.trucker on Instagram and on TikTok. But look for that. It's going to be an hour and a half long, so if you want to listen to it, take your time. But that's going to be a bonus episode releasing this on today at the time of this recording. And I decided to go ahead and run with a regular podcast as well. So we'll see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. All right, so let's start on the topics. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what some liberals are thinking. I really don't. Because we have this controversy right now of transgender players, athletes, playing in other sports. And look, like I understand, you know, some people might say, well, look, they have their own league and all this stuff. I understand all that. There's co-ed leagues, and I understand all that stuff. But I just don't understand liberals sometimes. When some liberals push for a biological male to go ahead and play in a sport. There's science around this. You have XY, XX, chromosomes, and I hope I said that right. I probably butchered that word up, but they have this. Men are a lot stronger than women, and if you look at the past, majority of people, well, I say majority of the left, they were defending women. Oh, we have to have women's sports to show that women can compete like men. Oh, we need to support women. We need to support women's rights, women's movements, and all this stuff. Remember there was a whole controversy of women's rights back in the day. But now we have those same people that's part of that group, the liberal group, say, well, we need, if you're a man and you feel like you are a woman, you should play in women's sports because you are a woman. And this is why, you know, Riley Gaines is being attacked right now by the left, because she's standing up because she went against Lisa Thompson, who is a biological male, swam against Riley Gaines, and Riley Gaines lost. Now, there's some people that might say, hold on, Isaac, Riley Gaines should have did better. She should have. No, it's hard to beat a man. A man is way stronger than a woman. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I bringing that the left is doing this? Because there was a bill passed in the House of Representatives. And the House, which is controlled by the Republican Party, has done a bill where it's called Save Women's Sports. That's the bill's name. What does the bill do? Well, the legislation aims to prevent biological males from competing as transgender athletes in girls and women's sports at schools across the nation. After a debate in which several Democrats accused Republicans of bullying transgender students by calling up the bill. The Protect Women's Act and Girls in Sports Act passed 219 to 203 vote Thursday morning. All the yeses came from Republicans and all the noes came from Democrats. Now, to get the majority of the House is 218. So it just barely got passed, but it did get passed by Republican legislators. And I think this bill is a good bill. This bill goes ahead and protects women from men like Lisa Thompson that one day saw that he sucked in swimming and said, well, I can go over and say I'm a female and I go to the top one. Now, was that his main reason? No. You could have the argument he could have felt like he was a woman, but it was kind of convenient that he felt like he was a woman and took home all the trophies. Now, there's going to be some liberals that argue this and say, well, no, that is not every sport. That does not happen in every sport. There's women that beat men all the time. Well, in Australia, a golfer that was a man that identified as a woman won the championship there by great strides. And the women really didn't have no shot. But now, I don't know how he did before he was trans, but he went ahead and won it. Now, that's in Australia and other countries. I don't give a flip what other countries do concerning their laws on this. But in America, I think we should protect the women's sports. And before all you leftists and before all you liberals come out and start bombarding my comment section by saying, hold on, these are women. Really? Really? A man that says he's a woman doesn't make him a woman. You know, you can go ahead and paint the zebra all white and put him in a race, but that zebra ain't going to race like a horse. You cannot, look, don't get me wrong. And look, in the conversation I had with the liberal trucker, if you watch it, we covered this. If you are a male and you want to dress in women's clothing, that is you. Go ahead. But don't go ahead and say, well, I'm going to dress as a woman. I'm going to do everything as a woman, and I'm going to go ahead and compete against women because I'm a woman. You can put on a dress, but you're still a male, in my opinion. This is my belief. And I already told people, I stand on truth. There is only two genders. And if you are one or the other, if you say you're a male and you think you're a woman, go be drag, go do whatever you want. But don't come say, hey, I'm a woman and I want to compete against women. But I feel like a woman. What if you feel like you're a zebra? What if you feel like you're a giraffe? Can you reach a 20-foot tree? Look, if identifying something makes me something, well, guys, I'm the top one podcast in America, and I'm a multi-millionaire. My show is, Am I a millionaire because I identify as a millionaire? No. Am I the number one podcast because I say I'm the number one podcast? No. I do believe I'm one of the fastest growing podcasts in the nation. I do believe that. Why do I believe that? Because I got stats that show me that. But ladies and gentlemen, because I say something, don't make it that's what I am. And look, the Republicans did right. I'm glad they pushed this bill out. I'm glad it passed. Am I saying it's going to go ahead and get to the president's desk? No, because it's not going to pass the Democrat-controlled Senate. And unless Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema does something. But even if it goes to the president's desk, the president already said he's going to veto this bill. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might even be asking, well, Isaac, if it's not going to pass, why are you bringing this out? Because I want to show you what the Democrat Party's doing. The Democrat Party called this bill bullying. There is Greg Landsman, a Democrat from Ohio, made that statement. Stop bullying children. Oh, now all of a sudden they're worried about children. Oh, stop bullying. Yeah, hold on a second. Bullying the children. What about that boy that is 10 times stronger, 10 times faster, and can whip any girl out there? How is that bullying that person? That boy that says, I want to be a girl and goes compete in women's sports, is that fair to the other girls that biologically cannot hold up to him? Is that fair? But according to the Democrat Party, this is bullying. House Republicans are choosing to bully and belittle trans children, argued Representative Robert Grosjean, Democrat of California. This is about attacking a small group of children, and it is shameful. Look at the bigger picture. Is it fair that a biological boy that is stronger than a girl compete in women's sports? And you hear I'm saying it's biological. Because even trans people or people that believe there's 355 genders on this earth will say biologically and scientifically there's only 2 genders. And I guess you could say that someone is being honest because you don't know what a woman is no more, apparently. But this person this bill is you know, it's even that. Let's go even this point. It's sad that we even have to have a bill to protect women's sports. It is sad. It is sad that we got to come and have a bill that protects women's sports. It's sad that we live in America like that. It does. And look, I know what it is. I know spiritually why this is happening. But boys are using this because look, even the protection of a girl in a locker room. What if one of these boys say, which has happened already, I'm a girl and I want to go to the women's bathroom, and goes to the women's bathroom and he's nothing but a sexual pervert. That's the things I look at. Now, I know the left. I know people on the left. They're gonna do this. Isaac, you're homophobic. You're this. No, I'm just trying to speak in truth. Men should not play in women's sports. I even use the example of me playing slow pitch softball in a co-ed league. If you walk a guy, you walk a girl. Why? Because there were people walking the guys because they knew the girl was an easy out, so they fixed it. To where you can't walk a guy and have the girl for an easy out. Why? Because naturally, the girl is smaller and the girl cannot hit a ball as hard as a guy. But this right here, you won't see. Well, let me not say that. I think this is a good bill. A biological man should not play in women's sports. But if you listen to the left, this is bullying transgender people. I don't think it's bullying transgender people. I think this is trying to protect women. Because on this final note, let me get a taste of water or soda, whatever that's in that cup. On my final argument of this, you know how many years it took for women's sports to get recognized. Think about this. It took years of women being activists and women saying we can go ahead and compete in our own leagues, and our own leagues can go ahead. It took years for women's sports to rise up to the podium where it's at today. And now, because we have a few individuals that says I feel like a woman, and their biological men are destroying all that. I'm going to use the example of Lisa Thomas and Riley Gaines. Leah Thompson holds almost every record in the women's department. All of them in swimming. But this person is not a woman. He's a man saying he is a woman. Now, Leah Thompson's famous all over the place. I don't know his real name. But it's sad that this was taken away from Riley Gaines and other women. This is why Riley Gaines is fighting so much. And I wish this bill would go through and become law. But unfortunately, until we get a Republican Senate and a Republican president, it's dead on arrival in the Senate. Because Chuck Schumer ain't even going to take it up. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few seconds. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. U.S. diplomats evacuated from Sudan as conflict intensifies. That's right. American diplomats and their families have been evacuated from Sudan as fighting between rival forces have intensified, or factors. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep them families. Glad we got everybody out. And it was done in rapid time. I think, according to Daily Wire, 70 personnel were evacuated. Thought many Americans remain in Sudan. The State Department acknowledged that some records show that 16,000 U.S. citizens may be in Sudan, but officials consider these figures to be inflated. CBS News reports. Let's pray for our citizens in United States as we go ahead and think about them as we go along in this episode. That's new. Let's see. All right, so let's go to our notes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hunter Biden incident is ramping up. Now, look, don't get me. A lot of people wonder, why isn't the Republicans investigating this? And they have been. Unfortunately, mainstream media has censored a lot of this information. One reason is because the Biden administration, the mainstream media don't want the Biden administration to look bad. And ladies and gentlemen, look, this is why I'm upset about mainstream media. Mainstream media will go ahead and try to shame everybody that's in their path. Look, and we can talk about, like, I'm going to talk about Don Lemon. Don Lemon and them had a presidential candidate on there. I can't think of the guy's name. He's an entrepreneur. He's in the top 100 poll, whatever that stuff is. But when Don Lemon got on air, he didn't want to talk about policies with this Republican. All he wanted to do was shame Fox News. He wanted to put Fox News down. He wanted to go ahead and tell Fox News, tell everybody how Fox News has to pay $700 some million defamation case, but didn't want to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. And when they got into topics, Don Lemon was showed up by this candidate, but Don Lemon just wanted to shut everybody down that was conservative. And they didn't talk about, to my knowledge, they didn't talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. They didn't talk about things that were going on. But we're starting to get a little bit more intel about Hunter's laptop and why it was censored. One reason being is because of Blinken. Blinken is the Secretary of State, which he has not done a good job at. But this is an article from Town Hall. It says Blinken orchestrated letter to undermine Hunter Biden's laptop story ahead of 2020's election. Now, what happened during the 2020 election? Well, President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, brought a laptop to a repair guy. While he was repairing this laptop, apparently Hunter Biden either forgot about it, or he I don't know, maybe when he brought it, he was smoking some weed and didn't realize where he left it. But Hunter Biden brought this laptop, signed for it, and this computer guy, when he got it fixed, didn't look at anything. Started to go ahead and wonder, hey, where he's at. Tried to call the owner of the computer, which was Hunter Biden. Never got a phone call back. Never got no back. And after months, went ahead and opened the laptop and found some things that were not making the Bidens look good. Let's say it like this. And if you remember, New York Post broke it, and Twitter, Facebook, all big social media, unless you were downplaying it as Russian collusion, you couldn't get that story there. You couldn't hear the story. You couldn't go ahead and talk about the story. Nothing whatsoever. You could not talk about that particular story. And ladies and gentlemen, it made big news, but because it was so suppressed by big tech, it wasn't a popular story. And like I said, when people like yours truly, I wasn't on the air at the time, but if I would have talked about it, I probably would have been censored by Twitter and big tech. And it's already been said, when they found out about this, they wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden because of the Hunter Biden dealings. Now, that is all water under the bridge, unfortunately, but there is people looking into this. The Republican Party has been looking into the dealings of Hunter Biden and overseas, and we've had some reports last week and at the beginning of this week, some things that have happened that we need to address, and this is one of them, where Anthony Blinken is being looked at because, according to Town Hall, President Joe Biden allegedly promoted a debunked letter from 51 former intelligence officers that was put into plan by Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to falsify, undermine a New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop as suppress Russia disinformation. In 2020, former President Trump questioned Biden during a presidential debate, arguing that he could be compromised, a bombshell revelation that the now president is involved in shady family business. However, the Biden campaign quickly dissolved any speculation that Trump concern was void. There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that was President Trump accusing me of is a Russia plan. They have said they have all the characteristics. 5 former CIA heads of the CIA of both parties said what Trump saying is a bunch of garbage, Biden said. But earlier this week, and this is from Town Hall, I'm quoting from townhall.com. Earlier this week, former CIA Director Michael Morrell testified that Blinken, a Biden campaign advisor, contracted a former CIA officer and set in motion a false statement debunking the Post story as Russia disinformation. Ladies and gentlemen, boom! So now we don't know what was in the computer. A lot of it, we don't know what was in it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is big stories here. Now, before all you liberals say something and say, well, hold on, Isaac, that's Town Hall. That's a conservative newspaper. Let's go to Fox News, which Fox News is not the greatest conservative media outlet out there. Biden campaign. Blinken orchestrated intel letter to discredit Hunter Biden's laptop story, ex-CIA officer says. A former CIA officer testified that then Blinken campaign senior advisor, now Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, played a role in intercepting of the public statement signed by current and past intelligence officers that claimed the Hunter Biden laptop was part of Russia's disinformation campaign. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the same people that tells us we're believing a big lie. Oh, Trump is propagandizing you. Trump is feeding you nothing but lies, 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 lies. Who's lying now? Or who lied to save their rear end from a political chaos? Now, look, isn't this interfering with an election? Because let's go back to Andy Briggs and Trump being indicted by Andy Briggs. Remember, he went ahead and said Trump covered up the Stormy Daniels incident, and they paid her so it wouldn't that the voters wouldn't get the whole story, and they influenced the voters wrong. So it's okay for Anthony Blinken, a then a campaign senior advisor to then candidate Joe Biden, to falsify a letter to say that the Hunter, everything that the Hunter Biden laptop story from the New York Post was wrong and that it was Russian disinformation. That's all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got a question, please. If that was, because remember, that's one of the things that he got Trump on. That was, he was trying to influence the election. Why don't we have a prosecutor in a state that's conservative, or somebody say, hey, this was wrong, we got to indict Secretary of State Blinken? But you won't hear that. You won't hear that. You won't hear that story on CNN. You won't hear that story on MSNBC. Why? Because, remember, I say this all the time. If the Democrats accuse you of doing something, they probably doing it. They did the exact same thing that Trump did. They tried to suppress a story or hide a story that would not cost them politically. Now, don't get me wrong. Trump was a prostitute and all that stuff. I understand that. But ladies and gentlemen, people said this on this story. If they would have known about the Hunter Biden's laptop, they wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, 9 out of 10, probably would have lost the election, because where would them votes have went? It maybe would have went to I can't think of his name. The one that was married to the Kardashians. I can't think of it. Anyway, but him, or they would have voted for somebody else, but they weren't going to vote for Biden. But because the story was suppressed, he won. They hid information from you, the voter. Now, will we see anything happen with this? The Republicans are probably going to investigate. They're going to go ahead and look at all this stuff. But we're going to have to see. Now, this isn't just the only thing with the Hunter Biden's laptop story. Let me go ahead and pull this up. This comes from Town Hall Media, and this was released sometime, I believe it was April 18th when this was released. And this was one of the stories I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have time to talk about. Now with all this stuff with Hunter Biden, it's kind of clear what we have. And this is also reported by other mainstream media. So this ain't just one source, this is multiple sources. House Oversight Committee, 6 additional family members may have benefited from the Biden's family deals. That's what all this stuff started off, remember? With Republicans now in control of the House, The investigation to the Biden family producing results is a recent update from Monday's House Oversight Chair James Comey revealed details about how he and other lawmakers went to the Department of Treasury to view records about the Biden family business. The members had access to thousands of pages of financial records related to the Biden family, their companies, their associate business schemes, with Comey saying confirmed the importance of this investigation. Let me go. The Biden family enterprise is centered on Joe Biden's political career and connection, and it has been generated an horrible amount of money for the Biden family, the chairman reminded as well. I'm trying to see where they go ahead. But anyway, going to that. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 additional family members. Ladies, it's hard to, I'm trying to be polite on this. But it sounded like this was a family mob run organization. Like they own certain parts of the town and they ladies and gentlemen, okay. I need to stop because this, let me read one more story. This Hunter Biden's IRS whistleblower news draws intense Twitter backlash covering a family Biden's, cover of Biden family corruption. This is from Fox News. Twitter users and Republican figures have had intense reaction to a alleged whistleblower claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally mishandling the Biden investigation. Oh, what about being fair and balanced? We're going to get a special prosecutor, but that special prosecutor is a friend to Hunter Biden. So Fox News confirmed that attorney Mark D. Lati penned a letter calling for whistleblower privileges regarding his client, a IRS criminal supervising agent. The letter read that the agent previously made legal protected disclosures at the IRS and stated that these disclosures contracted sworn testimony by Congress by a senior political appointee. The lawyer said, "My goal is to ensure that my client can properly share his lawfully protected disclosure with Congress committees. Lowly right. Thus, I respectfully request that your committees work with me to facilitate sharing this information with Congress legally and with the fully informed advice of counsel." So, ladies and gentlemen, before anybody says anything, I'm going to tell you right here, with all these investigations and what we're uncovering, the president is compromised. I believe that. And the media is not doing their job. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here should be on every single news outlet. But what is the mainstream media doing? They're focusing on Trump. Are they focusing on Republican bad policies? Or they're focusing on things that we should not be focusing on? Liberals are focusing on things happening in state houses. I understand. You should be involved with your local politics. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a president and his family that is corrupt, that did things that were unethical. And this isn't just, a million here. I mean, this Hunter Biden became a multimillionaire because of this. And ladies and gentlemen, there's so much. Look. I'm gonna have to take a break. Let me go ahead and take a break, and I'm gonna continue. It just this is upsetting. But hold on, we're gonna go ahead and continue this because we have one more story look, I'm sorry. I'm usually not a loss for words. But we have a corrupt president that his son used his name and they hid information from you, the voters. And that should make you very upset. But unfortunately, there's some on the left that's not going to look at this information and take it with an open mind. They're going to take it, they're nasty Republicans making up stories again. Russia disinformation. With that being said, we will take a break. We'll be right back in 1 minute.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all one word. The Scott Ford Show, all one word, and it's on Rumble. I'd be very happy if you went ahead and subscribed, like Isaac. I'm a true American-loving patriot. Thank you, Isaac. God bless. Enjoy your life.
You're my peace of mind when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. Remember, listen to our bonus episode with the liberal trucker that's going to be out. If you're listening to this when it's released in a few, like an hour and a half later, or if you listen to this and you see it's up there, go ahead and check it out. It's an hour and 30 minutes. Just giving you a heads up on that point. Okay, I want to go ahead and read you an article. Remember the last segment? I was frustrated. You have Hunter Biden doing all kind of stuff, and then they found this laptop, and the laptop, a while back I quoted it was going to sue the computer guy for invoking his privacy or, interfering with his privacy, which it was the guy's computer since he had it for I don't know how many months. But listen to how the White House is spinning this. Now, the White House is not denying this or anything. This is what they're saying. And this is from Ian Sams. He accuses the White House, the Judicial Committee, Republican and Chairman Jim Jordan of Ohio, of making a highly misleading selective leak regarding Secretary of State Anthony Blinken alleged role in discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story. Ladies and gentlemen, the White House is saying, oh, this is one big misleading leak. Ladies and gentlemen, this came from a former CIA personnel that said this. Now, in a letter to Blinken, Thursday, Jordan and House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Tooner revealed testimony from former CIA Deputy Director Michael Morrow, who said Blinken, then a senior advisor to President Biden's campaign, was the imparser, IMPETUS, of the public statement signed by current and past intelligence officers that claimed the Hunter Biden laptop was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. He said, we are examining that public statement signed by 51 former intelligence officers that falsely discredited a New York Post story regarding Hunter Biden's laptop as supposed Russian disinformation. The Republicans wrote, as part of our oversight, we have learned that you played a role in the inception of this statement while serving as Biden's campaign advisor, and we therefore request your assistance with our oversight. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was investigated. It was found out. And they're doing deeper thoughts into it. All the White House can say was, it's misleading information. No, it's not misleading information. As you saw, I was angry earlier. They purposely created a letter to discredit the New York Post because it was damning to their campaign. But now, and like I said, Anthony Briggs, that's one reason why he implemented Trump, because they try to suppress that story and to influence voters to stay with him. Now, the Biden administration did this as well, because you got to realize Blinken is part of the Biden administration, and he was part of the campaign for Joe Biden. But now, that's misleading information. It's like this information Russia collusion thing that they brought up. Now the White House don't want nothing to do with it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went on the news today, and she said, I believe it was today. Let's see. This was from the Daily Wire. Yeah, from today, April 23rd. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Tucker Carlson, Fox News incites violence We need to explore regulating them. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Tucker Carlson, she thinks Tucker Carlson, Fox News, and she heard me. She would say, I'm doing it. We all incite violence, and we need to regulate them. She said over the weekend that Fox News was responsible for inciting violence and that it was Congress's job to explore ways to regulate them. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made the remarks during an interview Sunday on MSNBC with Jane Paskowski, Peppermint Patty, as Dan Bongino likes to call her, in discussing Fox News' recent $787 million settlement with Dominion voting system. Now, look, don't get me wrong. The Fox News story is big. I haven't talked about it yet. There's a lot of things going on that I feel is more important than a defamation lawsuit. It's not that I'm trying to hide it. I don't have no affiliated with Fox News. I don't have nothing like that. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how the left is doing this. We have Anthony Blinken getting a false letter together to disprove a legitimate news story. And the media is all worried about this Fox News incident. I understand it's a big story. But ladies and gentlemen, why are they bringing this to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Because it's to make us on the right look bad. See, Fox News is supposed to be this big conservative news network, and they lied about Dominion voting machines, which we'll never know because they went to trial, or they didn't go to trial for it. So we won't see none of the evidence. We speculate that since Fox News paid the settlement, they had some damning evidence and they didn't want to come out on trial. But inciting violence, ladies and gentlemen, don't Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez know the First Amendment, which is the freedom of the press? Now, don't get me wrong. If they did do something wrong and they paid it, hey, they need to be I understand. That's what lawsuits are for. But for a government official to say we need to regulate the media is scary to me. Why? Because if you remember history, do you know what Adolf Hitler did? He went ahead and regulated the media. Do you know what they do in China? They regulate the media. Do you know what they do in Russia? They regulate the media. There's a reason why the founding fathers put in the First Amendment that we should have the freedom of the press and also have freedom of speech, is because we can speak our mind and not worry about going to jail if we believe one way, shape, or form. But ladies and gentlemen, Fox News is inciting violence. We need to regulate them. But what about CNN and MSNBC and all the other ones that in the summer of love said, this is a peaceful protest? What about them? Or what about Kamala Harris going on TV and saying, I'm going to bail out the people that do these riots? Or what about Maxine Waters saying to make people like me feel uncomfortable in restaurants? So won't we regulate them? Probably not. But ladies and gentlemen, for her to make this statement, and look, she's a progressive, so she is socialist. And socialists believe the government should regulate what news media says. That is scary. And I'm going to tell you, if we ever get to a socialistic state in this country, the Democrat Party and the left will push that narrative that we need to regulate media to make sure they don't falsify things. Now, look, don't get me wrong, because it's funny how, and I recorded the interview before this episode here, but me and the liberal trucker was talking about this, and you're going to see it in the interview where we talked about there was an act that would hold news companies responsible if they lied, and it was proven. But ladies and gentlemen, for the left to say we want to regulate, there's going to be their stories that benefit them, and that's what we need to be careful about. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So I want to go ahead and talk with the last couple of minutes we have about our debt ceiling problem here in America. So as a lot of you know, this week's coming up, I believe it's on the 28th, the Republican Party or the Republican-controlled House is going to go ahead and pass a vote, or going to go ahead and do a vote on passing the debt ceiling, or raising the debt ceiling. Now, I'm using the Daily Wire. I think they did a good job speaking about this, but Kevin McCarthy went on some Sunday shows and talked about how he was optimistic about the debt ceiling plan that he put forward. What would this debt ceiling plan do? It would raise the debt $1.5 trillion. Well, raise the debt ceiling to $1.5 trillion, which is at 31.5 right now, so bring it out to about 33 trillion, give or take a couple of $billion. And it would be only until or raise it until 1.5 trillion or until March 31st. But what it would do is it would cut a lot of spending programs. Now it has been confirmed that President Joe Biden doesn't like this bill, even to the point where Karine Jean-Pierre had to be corrected by a CNN reporter on some things she was saying about it. But in her statement, she said that McCarthy was siding with the MAGA wing of his conference, that it would go ahead and cut certain programs that wouldn't help. It wouldn't bring up the debt. She was bringing all kind of stuff up, and to where, like one of the hosts said, just to be clear, this bill would do that. She said it wouldn't avoid the deficit, which it would. But the White House is not happy with this, and I learned this because the White House says basically it's my way or the highway. Biden says it's give me, and I don't give nothing. And McCarthy put this bill out. It will be voted on. Will it go to the Senate? We'd have to see. There's a political article that I have in my files saying House Dems call on Biden to meet with McCarthy on debt limit. But as I said, but there is a bill in place. Why is this so important? Because on Fox News, McCarthy accused Biden of ignoring the GOP over debt ceiling negotiation as talk stalls rests upon his feet. That is, I believe, a quote from Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy demanded President Biden return to the negotiating table for a debt ceiling negotiation as talks remain stalled over key spending cuts and potential increase to the ceiling overall. So what's going on is, you remember, when this whole thing of the debt ceiling started out, the Democrat Party was saying it's the Republican Party. They don't want to put a plan together. They don't want to go ahead and raise it. They said they want the country to shut down. They want us to default on our debts. And the Democrats were all saying it's the Republicans' fault. But ladies and gentlemen, Republicans have worked out a plan. And they want to vote on that plan. Do you know who's stalling now? It is not the Republican Party. It is the President of the United States, who is a Democrat. Why? Because President Biden thinks money grows on trees, and he wants to spend it willy-nilly. He can't spend it willy-nilly now because we had our cap with the debt ceiling, and now that the Republicans are putting a plan together. I don't want to talk. Now I want the debt ceiling raised, and I want this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And when the Republicans say, well, we want this, nope, you can't have that. Nope, you can't have that. President Biden sitting in the corner like a crybaby, and he's not negotiating. He said, I'm not going to negotiate unless I get my way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I call that a spoiled brat that's not looking for the betterment of this country. Now, is this plan perfect? Probably not. I speak the truth. This plan is probably not the best in the world. But ladies and gentlemen, when you have a president of the United States that won't even think about going to the table and talking about this, but he wants to blame the Republican Party. The Republican Party put this plan together, and it's going to hurt. It's going to cut spending here, cut spending there. You ain't going to spend nothing if you don't raise the debt ceiling. But the Republicans put that plan in place. But the President of the United States, our unfearless leader, or I should say our fearless leader, because nobody fears him. That's why I call him a fearless leader. Nobody's scared of him. That might be poor analogy, but I don't care, or whatever they call that word. But ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States refused to sit down with the Republican Party to discuss some deal. Why? Because he ain't getting his way, and he's crying in a corner while sucking on his ice cream. This makes me sick. Now, like I said, normal people will look at this and say, well, it's not the Republican fault. They're trying to work out a deal. But the president saying, nope, not my way. Nope, I want everything and you ain't going to get nothing. And what's sad is he don't learn from presidents of the past. Now, look, I'm not a big Bill Clinton fan. But Bill Clinton even sat down with Newt Gingrich to work out a bill. And that, now, don't get me wrong, they had to go to a government shutdown to do it. But guess what? They worked out a deal. You had Ronald Reagan work with Democrats. But this Democrat president right here does not want to work with Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans. Now, on my final note, if this bill does pass and President Biden don't sign it, they're going to make it that the Republicans are bad. Because, see, the Republicans are the only ones that put a plan in place. But you know what they're going to say? They're not going to blame President Biden for not putting the plan in place. You know what they're going to say? Oh, well, it's not really President Biden's fault. It is the Republicans' fault because they knew he wouldn't sign it with the cuts. So you see, he's going to go back to the Republican Party, and they're the big blame for us defaulting on our debt. But we need to be wise. We need to be intelligent, and we need to go ahead and see what's really going on here. The president likes spending money, and he wants more money to spend. And the Republicans are saying, no, we want to cut the spending. And he's saying, no, I want my way or no way. And it's sad that we have a president that's more worried about his ego and his spending and his voters instead of America. And this is why in 2024, this man needs to go out. Look, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, the man on the moon, I think anybody could do better than what we got right now. And it's sad. It's sad that I have to say that. All right, with that being said, I want to thank you for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. As always, I love you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and to share the podcast on the podcast platform you're listening on or on the video streaming service you are listening on. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is coming back. He's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, reach back to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.
And he is the open